Hello, good evening. How are you doing? My name is Chioma Mama, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to share, don't forget to like, and of course, please do subscribe. So, what I do here is encourage parents. I send out inspiration. I talk about topics that affect us parents, every day. And today I'm talking about something that's really, really important as your children grow. Yes, choosing schools for them. Now, at every stage, whether it's from looking for kindergarten to primary to secondary, we are always trying to deal with those decisions of where should my child go to school, and then university. It doesn't end. That's really, really, really important. Really, really. An important phase in their lives, and there's so much to consider because now you have to even think about what course of study, unlike in secondary school where everybody's studying the same thing, or primary where everybody's studying the same thing. Secondary school, you're launched into the world, into adulthood, so to speak, and you're launched really into the world. And at this stage, you're not really choosing for them per se, or you shouldn't be. You should be guiding them and choosing with them. They should be part of the process, very much so. I'll give you an example. I had this friend who her child got into all sorts of schools, Cornell, and all sorts of Ivy League colleges, but she really wanted a small university. That was what she wanted. She wanted a small community. And she ended up going to a small liberal arts college, very well, known, not as well known internationally, but very well known in the US. And she's there and she's doing happily. Now, as a Nigerian mother, you bet that her mom would have said, please go to Cornell. But she had to respect that, look, this is what is best for my child. This is the best fit for her based on what research she herself has done regarding the kind of school she wants to. So when you're doing university, it's a whole different ballgame. You have to consider your child's wants, their needs. But it has to be done with balance. For instance, if your child is saying, "Oh, I want to go to this school because the school is all the rage, it's very expensive," and you know you cannot afford it, there's nothing you can do. The child will have to just say, you have to just sit them down and say, you know what, I know you like this school, but why? Is it because it's the most, well-known school in Nigeria or wherever? And you know what? It's going to cost a lot of money. And we're not sure, but you know that we can do that right now, or we want to do that right now. So there's a lot to put into place. So I'll be able to talk about just a few things that you have to consider when you're helping your child choose the right university. Number one, of course, is the child. What kind of child do you have? Is it a child that is already equipped with the skill that they need to be far from home and be independent? They should. Any child that's entering university, you should have given them at least they should have those skills to be able to be independent, do things on their own, take decisions on their own, fill forms on their own, run the process on their own. So they should have some level of independence. Also, what kind of nature does your child have? Introvert, extrovert, those things are all considerations when you're choosing a school or helping your child choose a university. Another that is very, very important and very key is the course of study. What course does your child want to study? So I'll give you an example. If your child gets into Harvard and say Johns Hopkins, you know, if it's for medicine or public health, let's say public health, you know that Johns is a better school for public health than Harvard. They are both very good schools. Harvard is more popular than Johns, but for public health, Johns is the place to be. So those are the things we need to consider. So some schools, for instance, in Nigeria, if you're looking, I remember when I was in school for law. It was Ambrose Ali University. Ekpoma was well known. They had a fantastic law faculty. OAU, where I went to, the same thing. So every school has their strength, has what they do well, what they stand out in. So look at the course your child wants to study. That will help. And at this juncture, I'd like to say, please, gone are the days when you force your child to study something. Now, I'm saying that with caution because you should guide them. Don't go and, I'll give an example, just using myself. When I was growing up, I wanted to study insurance or something funny. I didn't know what I wanted to do. My mother said, "Yeah, this insurance you want to study, based on what? Why insurance? Go and study law. You like to talk, so that law should be okay with you." And it worked out, thank God. But the truth is that if I knew what I wanted, I should not have been forced. Another place where you need to be careful with this, what does your child want? For instance, a child who has shown they are a STEM child, they're very good at, with gadgets, they're always repairing things, fixing and breaking and all that, and they now say they want to go and study law. That might be a bit strange. But I thought you were science inclined, and they're science inclined. What's going on? Did something happen? Could it be did something happen? Could it be peer pressure? It could be because all your friends are studying law. And then if you talk to them, they might now say, oh, yes, this is what's going on. You can now steer them in the right direction. And look, this is where you should be going to and help them with their decision making. But by and large, at this point, you should be able to talk to them and have the discussions. What are their strengths? If they don't know, and them not knowing is not a bad thing, which is why I like the US system of education, where you don't have to have a fixed major in your first year. Because at times you might think you want to study a particular course by your year one, and by year two, you're like, oh boy, I don't want this course, and you can change your major, easily. So talk to them, sit them down and say, because even us, a lot of adults in their 30s, 40s, 50s still don't know what they want to do with their lives. So, you need, but it's important that they do, that you help them, you train them so that they can get it right early. So talk to them, bring out things, observe them, see what they're good, what are their strengths, what areas do they excel in. Someone who is also a child who is also, really into politics and all sorts of things and all that. If he comes and tells you, and he always did well in government and some kind of subjects, if he tells you he wants to study political science, you should not be surprised. You should not be surprised. So, cost is very important. Then the other thing that is so important is cost. Like I said earlier, it might be the school that they want, it might be the school that you want, but you have to also be realistic. It's a sacrifice. Educating your child is going to come at some price, but you don't want it to be a case that you won't be eating food again because one child has gone to university. So look at it, weigh it. And as you're thinking about the cost, look at scholarship opportunities. They exist and they are real. There are lots of scholarship opportunities that are available in America, especially. So you want to observe and look at that and and explore those opportunities. And then country. Where do you want your child to study? Do you want your child to study in Nigeria? Do you want your child to go overseas? If overseas, where? China, Ukraine, UK, US, Belgium, Ghana next door has a huge amount of Nigerians to the mind. My first son is in Ghana. Togo, where do you want your child to study? Hungary, perhaps? And then again, when you're looking at that country, you go back to the course again, because some courses are good in some countries, some courses are not good in some countries. So if you go and do medicine in some particular countries, when they come back here to do their exams, here like as I mean Nigeria, they will have a problem with those exams because those schools, those countries are weak with their medicine. So you have to make informed decisions. Ask medical doctors, please, my son got admission to this so and so country. Is that a good place to study medicine? The answer might be no, and they might tell you, you know what, I think your child should study medicine in Nigeria, or they should study medicine in so and so country. So the countries. The other thing that you need to think about when you're thinking about the country is the culture. It could be culture shock for your child. You have to think about that. Language barrier. Some children are able to learn language. I know I had a friend that schooled in, I think, Russia, and it wasn't easy for her because it took her a while. She struggled, but eventually she was fine. So think about that. Think about culture shock. Think about, different things. You're here in this country where we have some kind of view, and they go somewhere where anything and everything is normal. Prepare them for that. So those are just some C's that you have to look at when you're trying to choose a university for your child. I have a webinar on Friday. Friday is the 26th of May. So you can join me. The details are going to be right below in the comments. You can log on, join me. Let's talk about other things that are really important in helping your child choose the right university to go to. By God's grace, we'll help them make the right and the best decision for them. Have a great day. Bye.